Kratos is getting ready for revenge. Sony is bringing God of War 3 to the PlayStation 3, and we've got a detailed look at what to expect from the newest installment in the God of War franchise. Dave is here along with Stig Asmussen from Sony Santa Monica Studios to take us through Kratos' assault on Olympus.
So, for people who haven't gotten to experience this demo yet, like myself, can you give me a little setup? What are we seeing and what are we experiencing here?
Okay, so where we start off right here, we've got Kratos' the sun god Helios just does a flyby past Kratos. He's on the outskirts of the city of Olympia, which is a mountain fortress that's kind of clinging to the side of Mount Olympus. And right now he's being attacked by Zeus's own army of Olympus, which is a legion of undead fiends. And they're out basically on the manhunt for Kratos, and they've decimated this city. They've pretty much carved up everybody looking for him. So what few stragglers we'll see around, like civilians later on in the demo, they're just basically casualties of this great war. It's really the greatest war the world has ever seen, and that's kind of the setup for this demo. For the game, it pretty much picks up where God of War 2 left off. We've got Kratos riding on the back of Gaia with an army of titans by their side, scaling Mount Olympus, going right to the heart of where Zeus is, and that's the Palace of Olympus and the rest of the gods. He's brought these titans back from the dead, and there's going to be this huge battle. That's how we start the game off. This demo takes place about 3 hours into the game approximately.
Great. So I've already seen a lot of the gory combat you can expect from God of War. Let us know how this game is going to differ, or how we can expect to see some of the same great similarities, not that there's anything wrong with that, from the God of War that we've seen in the past.
In terms of gore?
In terms of combat, in general.
In terms of combat, I mean, he's still, first thing you're going to notice, you pick up the controllers, he plays just like Kratos has always played in the past. He's got new moves. The moves, we really kind of like the simple, accessible, yet elegant kind of approach that we've had in the past, that you can get in and like really start kicking butt right off the bat. But there's those extra added layers for the hardcore fan where it ramps up. That hasn't really changed. The actual types of moves have changed, but they still play very much into Kratos' personality, and he's always going to look for the quickest way to kind of get rid of an enemy. If that happens to mean that he's going to rip the enemy's guts out, Kratos decides that's the way to do it. That means it's the best way to do it.
Cool.
So I noticed that, in the ones past, there's always been kind of like special combat moves and things of that nature as far as like combos.
Right.
You got any new ones in this at all?
Well, one of the newest features that we have right now is L1 circle actually gets us into a combat grapple. He's going to do it right now. With the Harpies, that actually gets you into the riding sequence.
I see.
And now we actually have full control over the Harpy for a limited amount of time. Kratos, with each stab, he's actually propping the Harpy to go
further.
Exactly. And then after a certain amount of time, the Harpy kind of gives up, and Kratos is forced to jump off. So here we can do Harpy to Harpy. But L1 and circle, like the combat grapple, can be used against normal enemies. And with the blades, what that does is actually, you'll throw the blades out and launch yourself towards that player. So whether they're up in the air, you can launch yourself up in the air, you can battle the guy a little bit, and then throw him back down at a guy that's on the ground and get back into the fray of the fight below. So that definitely changes the fighting system quite a bit, because you have a lot more range to do stuff in the air.
Now, you can actually, you should show me with the Harpies, but you can actually do it within battle sequences too, where if you need to go over to the other side of the battlefield, you can go ahead and use that guy to kind of propel yourself that way.
Absolutely.
And right now we're seeing one of the Titans.
Yeah, this is the Titan. His name is Perseus. He's the Titan of Destruction. And him and Helios kind of have this ongoing beef. And we're seeing that, kind of happening in the background right now. Kratos later on will interact with it a bit, kind of throw an assist to the Titan. But the idea is that we've seen, like in this part of the story, how these guys, Perseus and Helios aren't the best of buddies. And at this point right here, Perseus, in this particular battle, will end up getting the upper hand.
We've seen a lot of epic scale battles in this game before, but this really on PlayStation 3 kind of gives us an example right here of how big an environment we're looking at with that background right there. It's pretty impressive.